Welcome to Season 3 of Pod Practice with Team USA player Quinn Finer, Team USA Grandmaster player Mikey Lunn, and myself, Alex Atkins. You can now find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you listen to your podcasts. We want to keep growing the Pod Practice community, so reach out to us with your thoughts on IG and YouTube at podpractice_pod, or email us at show@podpracticepod.com. I hope you enjoyed the episode.
All right. So we recorded this episode the day after Belgian Nationals, which I think was
July 13th.
July 13th. Okay, so about 2 weeks ago with Ine Lanckriet. Our favorite Belgian PA. Sorry, PA. You're 1B.
1A, 1B,
yeah. We wanted to jump on because I'm sure Ine is not as well known in our U.S. audiences, and just give a little bit of her background and why we love her so much. What was your favorite part of the convo, Quinn?
Yeah, I think it's really, really interesting hearing about like youth development in Europe and in Belgium specifically versus how it is in the U.S. And I think Ine does a really good job explaining kind of the differences and what it's actually like, which the U.S. I would say, like, I have no idea about it, and so I would assume most people don't in the U.S. And getting to play for Ine on Super Team was super fun, and she's one of the sweetest people ever, and like is like friends with Devin and all that stuff, and so it speaks to her as just like everybody she meets or just like is around is someone she's going to get to know, and it was a pleasure playing for her and having her on.
She feels like family.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. Steph, we have Steph here with us as well. I didn't even intro you.
Whatever.
The man who needs no introduction.
Yeah, that's true. Steph's here. We're recording this the day before US Open because he's known Ine for longer and more intimately, I suppose.
Yeah, but I guess so. I mean, intimately is always.
I wasn't going to say.
No, she's a married woman.
Word choice.
Ine, her name in Nederland is Ine. But I've talked to her about this, and she's like, yeah, Ine is normal. That's what most Anglophones call me. Ine Lanckriet. But yeah, she's the best. The most, I think she is my choice for best coach in the world when it comes to team harmony building. She listens and connects people and makes sure that everybody's on the same page. She's very good at many other aspects, like more ultimate tactical, strategical, but really like she's well organized and like is just so caring. Like every single person who's played for her just screams her praise after the fact. And so as a coach, she's awesome. Everybody's like just coaching 2 super team the cycles. She's got offers to coach both in the US and all over Europe, and some teams that you would be very surprised of. Very, very good teams are like kind of begging for Ine. And she was a badass player too. I met her at the very end of her career and saw her play at EUC for Belgium as like a 40-year-old or nearly 40-year-old and not masters, playing in like regular age division. And I remember we were talking about at Belgian Nationals, her son Bono was like going over all the winners and how many teams have won and how long it had been since Gentle won, kind of the history of it. And Ine was like, well, I've won 2 open divisions before, and I've won mixed, and I've won like 3 or 4 women. I think I'm the only person or one of few that have won all 3 divisions. And so she'll still like sing a little bit of her own praises, but she's so modest and so awesome.
She is. Yeah, I think that's well said. Like if you are interested in building a team and focusing on like the base, the foundational pieces of establishing a good culture,
the finer things, establishing
things.
A good culture.
Yeah, Ine is the master. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and thanks for listening. All right, we're back. We're so lucky today to be joined by Ine from Ghent, from Belgium. It took a little bit of convincing on our part to get her to come on.
Sorry about
but it's
that.
truly an honor to have you. And we're honestly, we're trying to get more strong females on the podcast. It's something I think it's a fair criticism of ours that we haven't been able to do that enough. So no better way to kick that off than to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for considering me as such. I don't really consider myself that way, but I take it as a compliment from your side. So thank you very much.
Definitely. I won't spend the whole podcast just singing your praises, but everybody always that I meet that has worked with you, they always ask, "How was it to work with Ine?" And they ask they always mention how genuine and authentic you are, and
Oh
how
my
it really
God.
resonates with them.
Oh,
Because
thank you.
I mean, it's true. I think so much about coaching is the relationships that you're able to build and trust you're able to gain with players, and I think you do that so naturally. So it was an obvious choice from our end to try to get you on.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a part of it. It's because I know Ultimate for so long and well, and the community and the players in it, that it makes me maybe more outgoing than I am in my personal life. Because I would describe myself in person not as that social or outgoing as I maybe am as a coach. Um, yeah. So, but it's nice to hear. Thank you.
I can definitely relate to that. I'm very introverted and shy outside of frisbee.
Yeah.
Would you mind maybe going through your history, especially for our U.S. listeners? How did you get started in frisbee, and what would the transition to coaching was like?
I started playing Ultimate in about in 2000, which is quite a long time ago. But I was in my early 20s already when I started out, because I knew a lot of friends who were doing it. And some of the girlfriends decided at a certain point of time to join or to try and join a practice with the boys. And like 1 year later, I was the only girl left from that group who still kept training with the boys, and that was my starting point. It was in Bruges because the team in Ghent. That's how you pronounce it, by the way, Ghent.
Wait, help us out.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Gentle didn't exist at that time. So we were practicing in Bruges, which is Brugge in Dutch. Um, and I think I played there for 3 or 4 years. And then at that time we were commuting between Ghent and Bruges because we were all studying in Ghent, but our parents were still living in Bruges. I don't know how to explain it because I know the system in the USA is quite different. When you go to college, you you move to a different state very often, and you get to live in that state, and you don't get to go back to your parental home. But in Belgium, you stay 5 days, like Monday to Friday. You stay in your university or college city, and then in the weekends you normally go home to meet your parents, to eat properly, to to wash, to do the laundry and stuff, and then on Sunday evening you go back. So, and we were commuting twice a week between Ghent and Bruges just to make practice. And at one point, that was when we were done studying, we decided to found our own club team in Ghent because it would be so much more logic to practice in where you actually live than going back and forth twice a week. So that's I think that happened in 2004. So that's the year we started Gentle. Um, and yeah, I played until I think 2 years ago or something. And since then, I only coach. So yeah,
And
that's my history in frisbee history in a nutshell.
is it accurate? I watched the Discan video about the Gentle program.
Yeah.
Is it accurate to say you started as with like the as a youth coordinator? Is that how you got into coaching?
No, I've been like captain coach on many of the teams I've played on. So I would like to think that I've been coaching for a longer time, but actually as a non-player coach,
Uh huh.
that was only the only thing I've done up until more recently is the youth program. In adult teams, I've mostly been player coach, except when I was pregnant. I probably coached some teams while I was pregnant as well. But looking back at that period, I I was a completely different kind of coach than I am now. It's crazy how I've evolved in the past 3 years in coaching, and I would also think that coaching youth actually helped me stepping up as a coach like
Interesting.
big time. Yeah.
Is it common in Europe to have player coaches? Because in the US at like high levels, it's basically non-existent, um, except that Rhino won last year with essentially player coaches, I believe. But it's not a super common thing. So it's common in Europe.
Oh, it's up until recently. It was the normal. It was the normal business. I
Yeah.
think, like at Elite Invite, where Alex played,
Hmm.
from the eight top teams that were there, I think Gentle was the only team that was run by player coaches, which are the brothers Van de Wegen, Aaron and Arthur. But most of the other teams are external coaches, and they had me as a kind of guest coach.
Hmm.
Um, but that was my first time with them as well.
Oh,
Um,
is that right?
yeah, yeah. They just very recently invited me to share some knowledge and stuff.
Insight.
Yeah.
Can you explain how the entire Gentle program works from
Oh,
top to bottom?
do you
High
have
level.
Jesus? Yeah, that's so. From top to bottom, then I would say I have to start with the open and the women uh,
Or bottom
team.
to top, either way.
Yeah, I think at this moment we have about 150 adult players, which are divided into several teams, from which I think the most well known is the open team and the women's team. Like the women's team has been a stronghold, especially in Belgium, for like a very long time, and it's just in recent years that other teams like Mooncup is taking over.
Hmm.
And Gentle Open has like been right from the start, like how do you say, yeah, one of the better teams in Europe. So I think there are only a few years in which we missed Belgian final, but most of the years we've always played Belgian national finals. I think up until 2014 we were winning most of them, and ever since then it has been Moon.
Moon.
All credits to Moon, by the way. They also yesterday it was clearly they were the better. team for that final. So congratulations to Mooncatchers and PA.
Yes,
Yeah, they
a
did
friend of
a
ours.
really good job.
I watched the. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it last night. So
Yeah.
I guess probably within 12 hours of the game actually happening.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
Yeah, it was. I think we had some chances with Gentle, but I
Definitely.
also think in the end, I think it was Moon who had the deeper roster, even with their top players. I would
Missing.
dare to say Dan, and Sof
So
playing in
yeah.
the States at the moment. So yeah. So
Arvids was there though. I actually didn't see
No.
him.
No.
He was not there. Okay.
No, I think he's in Toronto at the moment.
Oh, that makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah,
For
yeah, yeah.
Russia. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the rivalry between Gentle and Moon? I watched the disc in as well and
Yeah.
touched on it there, but I feel like hearing it from you and like I feel like that rivalry's got to be
Yeah.
pretty big, right?
Yeah, I'm maybe not the best person to ask because they cut that out of the documentary. But I've been coaching Mooncup for 2 cycles of
Yeah.
ECF now, so it kind of makes me a bit part of Moon as well. But
I
especially
see.
within the Open, it is like I think it was last year. Gentle almost won. I think they lost on Universe from Moon, and Moon had some international pickups that weren't. I don't know the whole backstory, but I think that was a difficult loss last year because it was an even final, and I think this year they were the better team, and then the previous years it has always been like either one of them like having the better chances, but in the end it was in the past years it has always been Moon, and I think credit to Pia, he has done a major job in, I wouldn't say converting them, but it's the way they played in the earlier years when Pia wasn't head coach yet. They played like with upsides, hammers, scoobers, like the thing that makes Belgium a bit typical on the international stage. And I think Pia, he didn't wipe it out, but he made the team a lot more structured,
More
which
disciplined.
more disciplined, which is I think for Moon a really has been really a step up. And ever since they played Worlds in Cincinnati with some international pickups, they just
Yeah.
clearly took off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. You kind of say they play a little bit more disciplined these days. But like I played them at Wook, or I guess we didn't play them at Wook, but we played them at Windmill. And everybody on the team was like, God, they just huck it so much and throw so many weird things. And so them playing more disciplined to like some US players is still like, this team does a bunch of crazy stuff and like the decision making is crazy. So it's funny to hear you say that.
But it's something I just realized now after losing that horrible final against you guys in Spain. It's like the discipline on the US national teams is crazy. I mean, it's very clear that you have specialists in all kind of roles and defensive specialists and offensive specialists, and we just don't have that depth
Yet.
in Europe.
Yeah. Because it's
Yeah.
changing because all like the top players in Europe are as good as the top players in the US. It's just that depth piece.
Yeah.
So I think it's slowly changing. It's going to take so much time, but it's definitely changing.
Yeah, it's just after Logroño, after the under 24, it's just I didn't say we had a chance to win, but we really believed that we could offer the US a way better game that we actually gave you. But now I'm starting to think, how on earth are we ever going to break your dominance? Because it's crazy. The broad roster, the depth on that team alone, and then the way I hear how you run, how college is run, and so it's like it almost seems like impossible.
Yeah.
I've thought about this actually a
To
decent
compete
amount.
with that. It's yeah.
In like the last few days, I've been thinking about this. In fact, because partly because of that, and you know, because I was there with Christina's team, with the Czech mixed team, and one of the few things that we spent actual time on is like while I was with them at the tournament was some 3v3 stuff that's kind of more end zone focused. And something that I mentioned to them is like what makes the US really, really, really good is not necessarily that they're more athletic or even more skilled. It's just like they do the little things consistently really, really well. They their D line plays 3v can play like a 3v3 dominator or what something that looks like a dominator all the way up the field, whereas like a lot of other teams can only do that through their main three handlers, and like it's something that U.S. players maybe sort of top to bottom like they at least have that skill. Like anybody can slot into that and execute it. And while we were going through those reps with the Czech team, you know, it's not reasonable to expect anybody to be able to get really good at something in 15 minutes before an actual game at a tournament. But like one of the like you could tell like they were starting to understand like we got to get the base motion down, like the typical throw up inside, go up inside stuff, throw a dump, become a dump.
Yeah.
Like you have to be really, really, really good at that, and then you can sort of build. Like here are the other reads. Like you can, if you throw a dump, here's a time when you don't have to just hang back. But if you don't, as a whole team, as a whole unit, or at least like a 3v3 unit, have that discipline, then I find it to be really challenging to improvise and be
Yeah.
creative. On the flip side, though, something that Quinn and I have talked about is we're not as creative generally in the U.S. We are, I wouldn't say in danger of, but sometimes appear to
Robots.
be robots. Yeah.
Yeah, the, there are two things I want to mention about it. One is about having my experiences with you in Super Team, and the other thing is another difference I think is mindset and the fact I don't know, like for a US team I think tryouts are probably ridiculous, like also ridiculous hard to be taken into a national team,
Mm-hmm.
and like it doesn't match up into anything we know in Europe. I mean, 2 years ago with the under 24 there were guys on the team that, yeah, that we had to take with us just to have the legs, but didn't necessarily have the skills to compete at that level. And
Right.
they did excellent. And this year, I would say we had a broader team, but still with big differences. And then you guys are coming out from college season, which just ended like 2 weeks ago um, before the actual championship happened. And like the majority of those players, they just came out fresh of playing playoffs in college nationals,
Mm-hmm.
while the majority of the European teams are coming out of exams. So that's 1 month of studying and less competition. So that's making a difference. And then the fact that you have a much bigger chance in Europe to be taken on a national team, then I think you have to work way harder in the States to get picked for a national team. You really have to be the best of the best. Well, for Belgium, we take the best of the best, obvious, but we also take the second tier,
right? Because you have
because
to.
we have to, yeah. So that's one thing, and then the other thing, yes, we probably play a more creative game, and I think I noticed that in London with Super Team. So where I noticed that some of the US players, they were not kind of holding back, but like I was more expecting that, especially that everybody on that team was able to play anything, anywhere, at any position, and it became only clear after some games that some people felt more comfortable in defensive positions or offensive positions. So, like with a Jakob or a Luca or the Grut girls, Aurora, they just, you can put them like
Anywhere.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
And I think if you have a lot of specialists and a good coaching staff, because I also think the coaching staff on USA is like, yeah, we're not there yet. That's that's clear. Yeah, but if you can have everybody play a very disciplined certain role, then yeah, that's how you get to win those big tournaments.
I think it would be really fun to move to Europe and try to build or do something to compete with the US. Even like as someone who's, I have a lot of pride for frisbee here and ultimate here, but I think it would be a lot more of an interesting challenge to try to take down the United States than to just coach or play for. I mean, if I was in Quinn's position, I would want to play for a national team, but I'm at the point in my life where I wanted to actually do something different.
Yeah, it was. I think the US game in London Invite was a really great experience. But it also learned me that it takes Americans to win from
to beat Americans.
America, to beat them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Maybe for now.
Yeah, for now. Well, I mean, we're gonna see at World Games this year.
Yeah.
It's like less than a month away. I think other
What
teams are.
What are your how do you say, prognostics? Predictions. What are your predictions for World Games?
Support Pod Practice by visiting our Ko-fi page. Donate and we'll send you a sticker. You can also support the pod by visiting the Be Ultimate Pod Practice store.
I have to say US. I have too many close friends to go against it. I think, I can't pick against them, which is lame. But I just have too many friends to pick against them.
Oh, that's fair. Also, they're very good.
Also, they're very good, obviously.
I'm curious to see how the Colombian team will look because I have no idea. I don't know their male side very well at all, other than Jorge, really, to be honest. And but obviously they have talent. And then last cycle, Germany was able to take one from them. I like to think selfishly that we did something to help prepare them for that moment by playing a really competitive game that they lost.
We were joking, like maybe they won't lose one in pool play this year because they got it out against us.
Yeah. And like the whole crowd was cheering against them. So,
but that's how it always is. If you play for the US,
it is
never.
But now they know, like there's Grant has felt that, Dylan has felt that. Finney has felt that, but and Cammy, but that's probably sort of, and Marquez has probably felt that of playing for the Empire. But some of the new players maybe just It's always good to be reminded what it's like to be
Yeah.
rooted against, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will say teams like France is kind of a scary team because of the way they play and how athletic they are. Like in one game, in a game to 13, if France is really hot and they're just hitting on
Yeah.
deep shots, like
Yeah.
sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. And if Colombia plays like a really really clean game and they're super super stingy with the disc, like in a game to 13, it's very very easy to let one of those slip away. And if it happens to be semis or finals, like it could be anyone's game, and especially like that's kind of how it's feeling more and more in frisbee these days, especially in the UFA, which I'm curious to talk to you about UFA a little bit, Ine, but we can save that. In the UFA, it's like any given night, a team can lose. Like it can really happen, and I think that's what makes the World Games so exciting. Even though
Yeah.
we haven't seen
Yeah.
an upset besides like pool play, but I like it's coming. It's going to happen eventually, for sure.
Definitely
Yeah.
going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
We did interrupt you. We tangented away from the gentle program after
Okay.
the
Yeah.
top teams.
Big tangent.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mentioned open and women. Gentle women has been dominant, like between I think first time there was women's division in Belgian nationals up until a couple of years ago, and then there's a mixed team, but um, mixed is like more for players that don't make either the open team or the women's team, so they get to struggle a bit more to be more consistent. But like for this year, we chose to have because mixed and open slash women are played at different days. So open
Mm-hmm.
and female players are MMPs and FMPs are able to play both mixed and open women. So this year we chose for a really strong mixed team that was composed of MMPs from Gentle Open and FMPs from Gentle Women, just to secure a spot for Limerick for World Club Championships. So we won that one this year. But general, it's also a team that practices together. And then we have a masters team and another open team, but that doesn't practice with the open team, but is more a unit of their own. And I think that's for the adults. Oh, and this year, next season, we are opening up for beginners again. We have been closing down for the last 5 or 6 years because our youth program has become so big. Um, but this year, we feel we have space again to take on adult beginners. And then
It's,
we have the whole youth program up until the age of 19.
and so it's all under the same umbrella of gentle.
Yeah, I know it's quite different of how you work in the States. It's States is like you have a club team, and each season you open up tryouts, and people can just come and try out. So, but in Belgium and most of Europe, it's really one
I
club
like it.
team with a lot of different teams. And Gentle has been right from the start, from the moment we've been starting Gentle Ultimate. It has been the biggest club in Belgium right from the
How
start.
many how many people does it take to organize it?
Whew. So we at the moment the board consists out of 4 or 5 people, I would say. But in the past, it has been more, it has been less. All of it is volunteers. At this moment, I'm still the only person that is paid something on a monthly base, which is something between a salary of a volunteer and something of the lowest income possible in
I
Belgium.
see.
So not that much either,
Right.
but I wanted to create that because if I want to pass on what I'm doing as a youth coordinator, I won't be ever to be able to pass it on if it's not paid because
Right.
it's a lot of work.
That's a huge milestone to have created a position like that.
Yeah, but it's still it's very contained. But it's I would say it's really nice extra to have, but it's not something I can do it because I have reached a point of in my life where I have
Right.
financial stability. I have a job that I always can return to, and that's not
The
for
case for
everybody.
most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
it's still a start.
yeah,
I guess it would be similar to like Quinn if Altitude Youth here in Colorado. So Altitude Ultimate
Yeah.
is the organization that runs our YCC team, our youth club championship team. So they're called Cutthroat, and there's U20 boys team, U17 boys team, the same for girls. I don't know if they run any other teams, but they do run some tournaments and run I guess they camps, clinics, and maybe volunteer at tournaments. I think probably like they help with the organization of that. But I guess it'd be like if they also absorbed Bravo,
Mm-hmm.
a second men's team, a mixed team, and then
yeah,
Molly Brown
And
and
Molly
Orkel.
and which I don't know. I think that could be cool. Like even in the past, we've talked about how it would be cool to have like not really a Bravo B team, but like a feeder team of sorts. And
yeah.
I think that would be really cool. And I think something that like the way we do it versus the way you guys do it, like it's really, really hard for players that are playing for like the team below Bravo or the two teams below Bravo to work their way up to Bravo. It's like it creates like a kind of a barrier, whether it's invisible or not. Like it creates a barrier for those players to kind of work their way up to that. And we don't see a lot of players later in their careers like making Bravo out of the blue. It doesn't really happen, and I think that's kind of an unfortunate truth of how we do it. But I don't think that's true for you all because of the way you do it. I think it's way easier for players to progress into that team.
It's it has upsides and downsides. Like
Definitely.
the reason why one of the reasons why we stopped beginners for our adult teams is because so few of those adults actually progress, especially to the first
I
open
see.
team. A lot of them just stay just below the open level or at how would you say recreational,
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
recreational level, and it's now with the first youth players coming through. I think that's where the investment is any club
And that's where
should
it
make.
should be. That's where
Yeah,
it should be.
yeah, exactly.
We have been on the podcast. We've been talking about a long time how there needs to be a bigger investment in youth and younger youth players in the U.S. to kind of grow the sport.
Oh, you don't
And
know. You don't. You have enough. You have enough. I mean, you're winning every youth championship. Don't you don't need to invest.
yeah, fair enough. We'll cut them off. No more.
Yeah.
Um, what was I going to say? I have a bunch of thoughts in my head about the youth stuff. Like, I mean, just having watched that Diskin video, it made me wish that I had just had invested in that in Colorado in like 2017, 18. I can't remember which years it was. I was coaching the U19 boys team, and for various reasons, I decided it wasn't worth my time and investment. But now I kind of wish I had pushed for it, or at least maybe joined Altitude Ultimate on like a decision making level instead of like a coaching level. to see if we could help build. I'm sure it's like what their goal is already in some ways, at least from a youth standpoint. But I think one thing we've really struggled with in Colorado, this isn't true across the states, is integrating the players at Quinn's level with the players at the youth level. A guy like most of the players that we have that give back are generally not from Colorado.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's something that they learned where they're from, and it's not something we've really been able to instill here in the state.
Yeah. Well, I have to, if I have to be honest, but a lot of people know it. As long as I didn't have a personal interest in coaching youth, I really didn't like it. I mean, it was not my 40.
tea?
It was no, yeah. I wasn't good at it. I was, but having a kid, my own kid playing or starting to play, that's so. And I think I also mentioned that in the Diskin video, but it's not a joke. It only the big evolution in our youth program came because we had all those kids of former or still active gentle players starting to play. And up until, so I took over the youth program in 2019. So, which is now 6 years ago. But I started coaching youth in 2016, and that was when my son was 7 years old, and he was first eligible to practice. And the first year I coached him on a weekly basis. It was him and 17 other kids, but their ages were between 6 and 14. So that was a group of 17, 18 kids I had. And it's a nightmare. You should.
It's like herding cats.
It's like, it's more babysitting than actually
it's
training.
not really coaching. It's like,
it's not really coaching.
Yeah. Providing some structure for them to play.
Yeah. So what I learned that first year was, and the first year it wasn't me who ran the trainings. It was a girl, Yasmin Smet. She ran the first batch of kids at our side of town. And what I learned that year was, first, you need firm agreements with kids, rules at a practice, and second, competition is everything. Because I learned first year we played Belgian competition under 14, but it was late in the year, and maybe March or April. And we lost every game, like big time, like 15-1, 15-0. And that's also really hard because kids are very open about their emotions. So there's a lot of kids crying and being really unhappy, and me having no idea what I was doing there with a bunch of crying kids. So, and the next year, Yasmin got pregnant. So she wasn't able to coach anymore. But I was like, damn, we started the program. I can't stop it. So then I took over. But the things I took with me from that first year was like, first, we have rules at practice. So, and the first rule is, and was, and still is, like, you cannot touch each other. Because, and it seems really stupid, but like little kids, they pull and push and they fight the whole time. So, and if you put it in a rule and you repeat it enough, at a certain point of time, either they just don't do it anymore, or you just have to look at them, or just say, remember rule 1, and then they, instead of tearing them apart every time again. And the second rule is, you have to listen to the coach. When the coach is talking, you shut up and you listen. But the third rule is, when you want something to say, we are listening to you as well. So it's So, and basically everything that I felt difficult the first year, I tried to make it into a rule. And
Yeah,
then
define it up front.
yeah, but then the thing I learned from the competition, although they lost everything big time, like the practices after that competition were so much better because they actually felt that there is something to compete for. And
Yeah.
so ever since that moment, I also try to install more competition because I think that's also a difference between Europe and States is at youth level, especially under 17 and under 20s and college level, you have way more competition than we have in Europe for the youth. And like after a couple of years, that little group. I have to mention though that it wasn't me who started up the youth program. There was another guy, Dio, before me, who who is the initiator of the Gentle Youth program. And 2015, they run the first group of under 11 or under 14 at Blaarmeers on the other side of Ghent. Um, and I was just starting up another division of youth at my side of town.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and so that's and the next years we evolved to a youth group of 100 150 players, and then I started to organize internally competitions because with like 50 under 11 players at several locations in town that don't know each other, you can already
Yeah.
set up a small competition. So, and that's something we still do up until today, like offering 3 or 4 times a year a league in Ghent, just among the gentle teams.
I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like so much about sports at that age is not about making them really good. It's just about fostering enjoyment and a love of the
yeah,
game. And once they find something to be motivated by, then you can really help them hone that and give it a little bit more
yeah.
focus.
I think that's also what makes the biggest difference between me as a player coach and me as a non-playing coach, because especially with the youth, like the first thing you want to do at every practice, and it's something that I give to my to the coaches I train in gentle as well, is the very first thing you have to invest in is making it a safe environment for
Right.
kids. And basically that goes for adult level as well. Like every team I coach, also with super team, I try to make it as comfortable and as safe for every player. And that wasn't so when I was a player coach, because as a player, you also have too many things
Right.
invested. You have your own playing time, you have, so you're not as open
You're more concerned about
to,
certain
yeah,
outcomes than you are
yeah,
when you're just
yeah,
coaching.
yeah. And it
Um,
was just, it's not also, I had my kid on the line, so I really wanted to provide good practices for him.
yeah.
But I also have my regular job is in or was in education. I've put it on hold for 1 year now, but in education with kids that come from other countries, but mainly like countries in crisis, like Syria, Afghanistan, and a lot of them are refugee kids and they come into Belgium. They have to fit into the regular school system, but before that, they need language support. So that was my job in education. But the first thing for those kids is also you have to make them feel safe
Feel
in
safe.
a
Yeah.
school environment because they haven't feel safe for such a long time. But there is no way that anybody is going to learn anything as long as they don't feel safe. And
Right.
it goes in education, but it also goes in sports. It's
For sure.
you have
And
very few, yeah,
that was one of the things that you brought to SuperTeam as well. And I'd love to ask maybe a little bit more about your philosophies as a coach.
Over here at Pod Practice, we are excited to announce that we are partnering with Greatest Bag to provide you with all of your ultimate bag needs. If you're looking to get a new ultimate bag, head on over to greatestbag.com. And if you use code PodPractice10, you will receive 10% off your purchase.
You talked about agreements, like that was literally a slide that we had. And then the other things that I really liked that you added were the acceptables, unacceptables, and exceptionals, which is something that I had heard Jake Smart, another coach in the U.S., he likes to do.
Oh yeah.
And I think he pulled that from maybe like the Navy or something in the U.S. But yeah, can you talk a little bit about your philosophies as a coach, and maybe also like what is it like coaching mostly males as a female?
Oh, the male part. Yeah, I've also coached women and mixed, but where should I start? Well, I should really mention here Valerio Iani. He was my Italian co-coach for the under 24s in the last two cycles, and so very early in the process of youth coaching, I decided to get rid of handlers and cutters and stack systems. Because what I saw in the youth program that had developed up until the part where I took over, so 2018, 2019, is that a lot of coaches would teach the kids what they knew themselves. Like, and what do we know as players in Europe at that time? It's a vertical stack system with designated handlers and designated cutters. But when you teach that at a very young age to kids, and also to adults, I mean, there are so many adults that just plainly refuse to handle because they've been a cutter all of their life. And now it completely doesn't make any sense to me. But if you teach a kid at a young age that you're a handler and you can move the disc and or that he's or she's a cutter and they can only get a disc but immediately give it back to a handler, or like when I started out in Ultimate in Bruges, I was only allowed to stay in the end zone to catch a disc. But I wasn't allowed to throw big stuff or whatever. So that was very early on in my career. Luckily, that changed. But yeah, imagine if you teach that to kids, they get stuck in a certain role.
For sure,
and and you want to create play, or I want to create players with the program that are basically like Dan, that you can put anywhere. And you never know what Dan is going to do. He might start out in handling position, but he ends up scoring the goal. And he's a great defender, and that's the kind of players you want to raise, basically. And you don't raise those players with teaching them vertical stack and cutter 1 and cutter 2, and then there are 2 players that, do I have to cut because I wasn't called, or yeah. And when I decided to do that, I was a bit in trouble on how to find a way to do that. How to find a structured way to really teach kids to be able to do to play anywhere and to throw creative stuff and so. And I don't know how it happened, but I got in contact with Valerio again after like 20 years. We met each other early 2000s in Paganello. I was playing in his team Guayota. He didn't speak English at the time, so we literally had no communication. Otherwise, then if I did something bad, he would look at me with a really disapproving face. And when I did something good, he would hug me or give me a patch on the back. So that was our communication back then. And I don't know how we kind of reconnected, but I don't know. But he was in the States at that moment, running a youth program for the Bay Area. And so if you ever want to talk about somebody to make youth camps and ultimate, I think he's also a really good
He's the
person to
one.
talk to. Yeah.
He's been on our
And
list. We've been meaning
yeah,
to
yeah,
get a hold of him again.
yeah. And I don't know how, but we got in contact again. And then he mentioned I'm moving back to Europe. And I was like, okay. And that was in 2019, I think. And, or no, it was, I don't know, whatever, doesn't matter. And he was moving back to Europe. And I was like, okay, can you come to Ghent and give a 1 week clinic and share information? And he was very busy with hacks and motion offense at the time, and I still don't fully understand how hacks works, but I do understand how motion offense works, because hacks is just it's also another it's a system with a structure and stuff, and especially for
Right.
youth I want to move away from structure as much as possible. So he came for a week and we got some things, and and that's how I fully kind of implemented his findings from his time in the States and with running ultimate programs there. And I implemented them in the youth program, added some stuff of our own in it, and that's how we got things rolling. And now we get the first players that are actually raised in that kind of system, and to us it's like the biggest proof that this kind
It
of
works.
method that it works. Yeah.
So who are some players that we might know that came through that?
If you followed the under 24 in Spain, you had Wolf Panemans and Staf de Krane. I wouldn't take credit for Tobe and Lander because they were on the youth program before me, and they were just extremely talented and extremely good. So they certainly had help from coaches and they got their chances, but I won't take credit for them. But like Wolf Panemans, he started out at my side of town, and I've known him since the first year he played. And basically, I think I've coached him like for ever since he started to play. I've coached him like each year because he's still under 20, so he's still in the youth program, and that's the kind of player we want to raise. But he's like one of the best examples possible. And then Staf, the youngest, the Krane brother, he started out in the old program, and he's one that started out learning I'm a handler. And because he could and he still can throw really well. But for a very long time, that was the only thing he did, like move the disc around and didn't always going back to his safe dumb position and handler, and for sure not run too much. And it took a while before he adapted to like, oh, do I really need to cut or be a runner or play defense? But I think now in the past years, he also realizes what the benefits are of investing in defensive work and in cutting or running or going deep or
That's great. And those, by the way, watching the U24 team, I was very impressed with both of them. And so Quinn and I will go to what we call Denver Pod, which is just a few blocks that way from my house. And high school practices next to us sometimes. and honestly, their coaches are great, and they do really good things, and they perform really well. But watching how structured everything is in terms of like, hey, today we're practicing how to get open at the front of the stack from this position, like it's just very structured in terms of like you run to the stack with your head down, and then you time your continue. In a lot of ways, that is a lot. I do like it, but it's sort of exactly what you're saying, that it teaches a very specific way to play and not an adaptable way to play, in a way to like that will help them. I think it will help them, but maybe not. It's not maximizing their creativity when they move on to the next level.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. When they move on to the next level, in my experience, when you pin people down to one position, and if you don't become extremely good in that position, you're very likely to be cut on the team,
Yeah,
which also creates fallout in youth, because you have to, in Dutch we call it an experience of success. So I
interesting. I
think,
understand what you mean. Yeah,
yeah, experiences
Like
of
a breakthrough.
success. Yeah,
but in a
yeah,
bad way,
yeah.
right?
I think
Like you
experiences of
pigeonhole yourself. Is that what you mean by being really good
no,
at something?
it's
Right?
like when you teach somebody how to cut from the front of the stack, but
Uh-huh.
there are kids who will never be
Do
able to
that.
pin that down to do that. So how are you going to create an experience of success
Uh,
for them?
I
Okay,
see. Yep.
and I think especially in youth, it's super important to have kids experience that, how to be successful. Yeah, because if they don't get that, they drop out, and they we have a lot of kids that come from basketball or soccer, because they get benched at basketball, or they don't get to play as much in soccer as they would like to. And with us, everybody plays at their own level, and everybody touches a lot of discs. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's big, and that's big in
yeah,
all sports. In the States, we often hear like bigger sports like baseball, youth soccer, youth football, youth basketball. Basketball is probably a big one where it's required. The kids are being required to be so specialized so early and be so good so early that they either get burnt out or um, I think we probably miss out on a lot of people who
yeah,
are still just trying to decide, like, do I like this or
yeah,
not? And it's like, well, I don't like it because my experience playing is me getting yelled at or me
yeah,
just not being good at this one specific thing, like you're saying.
yeah. Exactly. And it's especially with kids or even teenagers, you really don't know where they're going to end up. I mean, I've seen enough kids like Staf de Krane is actually a good example. I mean, um, I don't know if I should mention it, but the way he got on the under 24 team, you want to hear about
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Because of his last name? No, I don't.
No, 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 no.
yeah.
So I had a long tryout run for the under 24, because 2 years ago in Nottingham we thought under 24 cycle was a 4 year cycle. So
Oh,
we
wow.
thought this team is done.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but then we it's a 2 year cycle, and then I started counting, and I was like, oh my god, we can't keep so many players of this cycle.
yeah.
So, and then like immediately, like a couple of months after, I started to build this team.
I see.
But for the tryouts, so I had a 1 year tryout group, which consisted out of 30 or 40 players that just came together and practiced. But for those tryouts, I only invited 3 youth players from the Gentle program, and one of them was Wolf Pannemans, and the 2 others, none of them was Staf de Krane. But Samir Boumalal, who is also in the team, he's coaching the under 20 in Gentle, and he posted the link for the tryouts to register in our under 20 WhatsApp group, which in 10 minutes I removed it because I didn't want to have all the
To
under
sort through
20
all of them,
boys
yeah.
cuts, and but in those 10 minutes stuff actually registers.
Oh, did he?
The only one, yeah. And I was like, yeah, what's the harm? He he will be,
That's funny.
he won't be in the way, and he'll be able to keep up with the practice, and it's only a tryout. So but each practice he just became better and better, and up until the final tryout practice, I think the final tryout practice was when Tobe just got back from Montreal, and yeah, Tobe was really hyped because of his Canadian journey, playing professional and stuff. And
Yeah.
he was really hard on the tryout group, like, which I completely understand. Him living as a professional athlete, ultimate player in the past year, then coming back to Belgium, having to
Yeah.
deal with a bunch of tryout players at the under 24. And so he was really hard on everybody. And the only one who really didn't give a shit was Staf. And both of his brothers, like Lander and Tobe, they pushed him hard. Like they did layouts on him, and he was like, "Hey, I'm here, and I'm just going to play, and I have fun, and I know you too my whole life, so I won't give a shit what you are yelling to me or
I'm not
whatever."
gonna be scared of you.
And then I was like, yeah, and in that one year, he completely transformed his body, like really put the hard work in it. And then I was like, if you show this kind of mental resilience to like the best player, one of the best players in the team, you can show that resilience against anyone. And so that's how he earned his spot on the
That's
team. Not
amazing.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
maybe part of his last name, but because of the attitude he was able to show towards his 2 elder
You know,
brothers.
I'll be
Yeah.
interested to see how he develops too, because from what
Yeah.
I understand, oftentimes the youngest siblings become the best because they are so pushed so hard by their older siblings and have to like push so hard themselves just to keep up with the sibling rivalry. So
Do you know? Do you have? I know you have the Ing brothers now at the World Game teams.
yeah.
Do you have
Other
like
siblings?
other siblings, but like 3 brothers or 3 sisters, or that kind of made the national stage?
Oh, the national stage.
I'm sure we have. You know what's interesting is also Michael Ing's. I don't know if they're engaged, but his partner is also. I think he and Anna Thompson have been together for quite some time. So it's a true family affair.
Okay.
I don't think there's any siblings on like national teams. Like I'm thinking of like the Norboms. There's like 3 Norboom brothers that are all
There's the Jorgensen brothers.
solid. I was about to say the Jorgensen brothers, but none of them play like national teams together. I think Ings are the only one I know, like you said.
Okay. Well, yeah, keep an eye out on Belgium, because we now have 3 de Kranes. You know there are also 3 Van de Weges. So you have
I did,
Aaron,
yeah.
Arthur,
Yeah.
Aaron, and Isaac. He was on the last of the previous cycle of the under 24. And then there's also the Heernaerts, which happen to be Wouter, which is my partner, his cousins, and both Tuur and Arne were on the under 24 team now in Spain, but Arne was injured, unfortunately. but he also played. He's the guy who caught the would be greatest October in
Yep.
Nottingham 2 years ago. That was Arne, and they have a younger brother, Stan.
Wow. Okay.
So
So big family
yeah,
units coming in.
yeah, yeah.
I want to think of some other, like Mac Hecht has a sister that plays, doesn't he?
Mia.
And there were two, like Josh
Oh.
Zipperstein and his younger sister played, I think. So
You-
there's
you
like
have-
some brother sister.
You had the Titcomb family.
The Titcomb family.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good
Yeah.
one. And I think like Rory and Chyna definitely play together. And I think that what's the other brother's name? I'm forgetting
Zalen.
his name.
Zalen?
Zalen, is that right? They
Yeah.
may have played sockeye together.
Oh,
Is-
okay.
Is Cedar has an older brother?
I don't know. Does he?
Ocean, maybe? Ocean Hines? Am I crazy?
Oh, that's a cool name.
Because I think Cedar and Ocean, so Ocean Hines, I believe, is older than Cedar, and Cedar played for the U.S. team as well. So, and Ocean, as far as I know, didn't play for any U.S. team. So there's the younger brother being
in Colorado. Sorry to interrupt. The Cedar's better. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so.
In Colorado, we have the Hawkins brothers now. So Elliot is a current Mama player and Summit player. His older brother Spencer is a captain of Fungi. I think he's a captain who's like one of the other Colorado men's teams right below Bravo. And then they have a younger brother, and I don't know his name, but I've heard he's quite good. And I actually, so Elliot Hawkins, he's the middle one that plays for Mama Bird. He plays for Summit and Bravo, but he was heavily considering playing Fungi to play with his two brothers, which would have made a lot of sense because it's probably a pretty rare opportunity to be able to do that.
I was really happy because David and Heike, the Kranes parents, they're also good friends of mine. So it must have been so much fun for them to have the three kids on,
Did they
on the
play?
national team.
Did their parents play?
I don't think David ever played, but Heike played. I played with her in Gentlewomen.
Nice.
But I think Heike's brother and sister, Jelle and Jane van Quali, they've been both big ultimate players.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's another way I think Europe will eventually catch up because the second generation players are so good, and we have more of those right now. But
yeah,
as long as people keep having babies.
I know Alex is second generation.
He
player.
is, yeah.
And you Quinn, how did you start out? Oh, your mic
muted,
is
Quinn.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. My Siri just like started playing music, and so that's why I got up. I was like, "What is going on?" No, I'm not a second generation. I basically picked it up playing just like pick up frisbee with my older brother's cross country team when I was in middle school and he was in high school, and then I just kind of kept doing it and started playing some leagues, and then I started playing for the YCC team that Mike was talking about, and that was pretty much that. And I would say I didn't even really get super serious until probably my freshman or sophomore year of college, honestly.
By the way, speaking of second generation and brothers and siblings, we forgot to mention the Lories, which is crazy.
Oh my god! Yeah.
So, the year that we won in 2022, U.S. clubs, we had a pair of brothers, Ben Laurie and his younger brother Will Laurie, and their parents both played, and they're like kind of ultimate frisbee royalty in Colorado. They're like the best family, the nicest people, and there's
and my first coach was Phil Laurie, their dad.
Phil, who coached YCC. I coached with Phil. His wife Julie played, and then they have another. The middle sibling is Lizzie Laurie. She plays out in DC, but has played in Colorado as well.
Wow. Yeah.
And Ben played U23s. Will played U24s. Did Lizzie play any?
She did.
She did. Yeah, I
I don't know
thought
if it
so.
was women's or mixed.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but
Yeah,
they all played under
Very
24s.
confident,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we are getting, well, that's basically gentle youth story, like second generation kids wanting to play and their parents just stepping into coaching.
Yeah.
So yeah, Quinn, you know what you and Devin need to do.
Move to Belgium. Yeah.
Have babies is what
Yeah.
she's saying.
We'll see. I don't know. Move to Belgium and then have babies and put them in the.
Yeah, they can go through the
Be
Belgian
sweet.
the Ghent
Yeah.
system. Okay, so going back to coaching philosophy, Nate.
Oh yeah.
So you've talked like this is like the lessons that you've learned through
Yeah.
youth. Like, what have you found most valuable for the older, like both for U24 and anybody that is an older player?
Well, anything for me, all of it goes back to first creating a safe environment. And for me, that also means putting the right leaders in the right place. Like 2 years ago, I don't know if we had the team chosen the leaders or we did, or I think we with the coaches we picked some leaders and then the team picked some leaders. But like it's I don't think if Dan and Bench, if they wouldn't have been in a captain's position, I strongly believe that we wouldn't have gotten to the result we got 2 years ago. And the same goes for having Sof and Lander and Tobe in captain's position this year. It's I think it's really important to share insights and responsibilities with your top players and captains, because I want to go motion offense all I want, as long as your best players on the team are not committing to it or not agreeing to it, it just falls down. So I try to invest a lot in leadership, tactical and technical leadership, like having your best players deciding with you or going over game plans or tactics and having them agree on it, or having if they have remarks on it, be open to discuss it with them, but also investing in your social leadership. Like 2 years ago, that was Lander de Krane and Louis Korthout were our social captains, and like all the crazy celebrations and the songs and the silliness, it comes from them, and it's so important for any team, I would say, to have those kind of leaders as well. And we had them again this year with and now this year they were, and Lander was a field captain and a social captain, and he's a guy that is playing great, but also puts the fun in a team. And I don't know how to say it in English, but he has a kind of humor that I really like. But he's also very honest. Like if he doesn't like something I do or somebody else is doing, he will also come and tell me, which I appreciate a lot. So I think leadership in all kinds of roles and positions are very important. I had with Super Team this year and last year. I tried to put everybody in some kind of role in which they shared responsibility for the team, because that's how you stay committed and involved.
I think that's huge and something that I really appreciated that you did with Super Team and had like infrastructure for. What's interesting to me is over the last couple of years is we feel like you mentioned here in the States we are like, I guess, further ahead or whatever. But I think an issue we have, at least that we've had with coaching at the top level, the men's teams in Colorado, is we've felt like we've had things figured out. And so we then try to just like, I don't know, I guess, give the answer key to people. But we have really fallen short in terms of like allowing players to have ownership of the team and like feel that ownership. And also, how would I phrase it? Like, I think, I guess that really is the main part. Like, we have not done a good job of building or sustaining a good culture year to year, where it's like we like hit the reset button or like assume that that there's enough institutional knowledge in place that the new players will just get it, instead of really making sure like that everything is clear, especially from day one. I don't know what you would think about that, Quinn.
Yeah, I think that's pretty valid. We'd love to like try and change things that already work or fix things that already work or just like iterate on stuff when maybe we're just putting the cart before the horse. Sometimes I think that's fair, and it's not an easy thing to like realize you're doing or an easy thing to not do. So yeah, I would tend to agree.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen Bravo playing yet. I do feel you do yourselves a bit short because yeah, your programs still stand out like compared to ours. I think
we have high standards, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We're going to be very possibly playing a Belgian team here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So,
oh, I'm looking
fun.
forward to that. But if you would like to read more into it, I followed like a couple of years ago. I followed a clinic, a general clinic on athlete leadership. And I think that's really a great way to empower your team. And it was run by a professor, Katrien Fransen, I think. She was from the University of Leuven. And she wrote she did a lot of research into team dynamics and stuff. And
I'd
she
love
was
to see that.
Yeah, and she was I sent a link. She was a player on the national volleyball team. And she was like, for a long time, it was the coach who chose the captains. But very often, the team didn't naturally agree with the choice of the coach for the captains. So she did a lot of research about teams choosing their own leaderships and how that turned out to be quite successful. So, and because we didn't have any culture of non-player coaches in Belgium at that time. I was like, this is the way
Right.
to form
Right.
team culture in Belgium, because we don't have we don't have non-player coaches. So let the team decide on who's taking the tactical decisions on the field, but also let's have a group that's responsible for keeping the vibes and making the team coherent and organize social stuff, but then also make a leadership around motivation. Like, how do you keep everybody motivated and uplifted and spirited and knowledge of the rules and stuff? And then, so she defined 4 types of leaderships. And if you put 2 or 3 people into each leadership, or let the team choose about 2 or 3 players into each leadership, you have half of the team invested already and owning stuff.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, that's
Do you
That
remember
was
what the
huge.
leadership styles were?
Yeah, it's field, it's motivational, social, and communication. But
Gotcha.
I'll send you
And
the link. It's
yeah,
available in
please
English
do.
as well. So
Yeah, it makes me. I guess I often, you mentioned that maybe we're too hard on ourselves, but another area of maybe we have fallen short the last few years is, as coaches, we felt like we sometimes we get caught in, we know what the players need, or like, I'm going to put Quinn in this specific spot because I think that's what he should do, instead of giving Quinn the input on his like his own destiny, basically. Like,
Hmm.
the I think there are a lot of players that we just see as like, this is what they're good at or not good at. So we're just going to put that chess piece on this square and assume that it's going to work. When it's just, that's not how team dynamics truly work. They have to understand why. They also are not static things. Like, they can grow, they can change to their adapt to their situation. So I think, like, having the different leadership styles and just making sure your team is bought in is just so valuable.
Take charge of your real estate future with HomeForce, the all-in-one home buying service built specifically for Ultimate players, their friends, and their families. Powered by the Ultimate Lending Team, HomeForce was engineered by Ultimate players for Ultimate players. It's your one-stop shop for everything real estate. Let Jim Nolte and his team at HomeForce quarterback the whole process, or jump in just where you need help. Follow at Ultimate Living Colorado on Instagram.
Quinn, you have some like at least one question about
Yeah.
watching.
I'm just curious what your well, first, how much UFA do you watch? Probably not a whole lot, but I'm sure you've watched a game or two.
yeah, I'm very sorry to admit that I haven't watched a lot.
Yeah.
I watched the Dan and Tobe. That's
Yeah. So
That's
I haven't been, yeah, I
that's
would have,
basically my follow-up question
yeah,
is
I
I'm
would have,
curious how
yeah,
it is watching them play in those games
yeah.
and how the
and
style is
dominating.
and being that's yeah and being like some of the best players in the league right now. So I'm just kind of curious to get your thoughts on the UFA, on them playing in the UFA, and you've watched them grow up and get
Yeah.
better and all that stuff, and now watching them today is pretty cool.
I
I'm sure.
mean, I want to start off with Tobe
Yeah.
because I've known Tobe since he was born, but I only got to really know him better since the under 24 program.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is that Tobe has been saying, like, basically all of his life since he knew Ultimate, my big dream is to become a professional Ultimate player. And he says that right from secondary school, so which I don't know, that's middle school with you, age of
Probably.
between age 12 and 18. Um, and at that time, like AUDL, um, that was like, um, we didn't have the kind of streaming or the social media at that
Hmm.
time. So it was like, it's not that we laughed at him, but it seemed like to be a ridiculous dream,
Yeah.
like dream on tour, because yeah, it's, but by the time he finished um, school, that kind of program ADL became bigger. And then when he got his first contract with Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to play in Montreal. I mean, I knew nobody needs to convince me how good he was as a player. I mean, he was captain of the under 24 2 years ago, and he was a first year on that team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
how good he was. But then the way he basically single-handed lifted Montreal back into winning games.
For
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
they hadn't won any game until he showed up. And I mean, it's crazy to see what kind of impact he
Hmm.
has. And I also think like the guts you need as
Way
like
to go do it, especially
because
at
he
that age.
played
He's so
he
young.
played, yeah, and I know his French sucks and his English is decent, but in Montreal I think it's a French
Yeah.
speaking part of Canada, and the way they speak French, I consider myself fluent in French, but I don't understand the way they talk over there. So that alone, having the guts to do that at such young age, to move countries and to live there, just chasing your dreams and putting everything on hold. And there are people like, yeah, but what if? And I'm like, there's no what if. I mean, and it's also what I tell Dan. I mean, this is the time for you to do it now.
Hmm.
And we'll see, because this is an experience, a once in a lifetime experience. So grab it and live your dream. And it's amazing the way what Tobe did last year in Montreal, and then coming to Boston and playing with like a Jeff Babbitt, and not just like, but
And
like
standing
almost
out.
being standing out and being his peer and making the connections on the field is like crazy to see. And
Yeah.
with Dan is the very same. I mean, I know Dan is he's yeah, he's one of the best players I know, and he's definitely the most like he might be not as athletic as Tobe has his build. I think speaking for him, but Dan is he sees the game like
He might be the best player in the world right now, to be honest.
yeah,
He's so smooth.
He's just yeah.
and
No, I mean
smart. He's one of the
smart. Yeah,
smartest
yeah. We were
players.
You
talking
would,
about the way
Yeah,
he cuts. It's very like
yeah,
he just waits for his opportunity, and
yeah.
he knows exactly when it's going to come, and he's always set up to take it when it's there,
Yeah.
and it's pretty impressive.
and did you say he is not as athletic as Toba?
He's different kind of athletic.
The build, I think
Like
she was saying,
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, Tobe has a great build for the UFA.
Yeah.
I will say, like
Yeah.
the big being bigger and just being a big playmaker like that in the UFA is there's such a premium on it. It's kind of crazy. I've been thinking about this a lot, like the what makes you good in the UFA versus what makes you good in club or what makes you great in those is so different. And I don't think I really realized how different it was until recently.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so different, but there are certain things that get accentuated
Significantly accentuated.
on the bigger field with
Yeah.
and the pace of things.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You
I-
have to have crazy endurance.
Yeah.
I think Dan even mentioned to me very early on that Machine had doubts about him because he wasn't that because of his height. Like
He's like, yeah, he's not
yeah.
super tall. He's
He's
taller,
like, he's
but
like
he's-
my height, I think.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, but then watching the UFA is like it's a complete different game than the regular game. So it took me some time to adapt as well. Like the quarters, like it's 15 minutes, but
yeah,
in the end it takes a lot longer than it only
Because it's-
takes the actual playing time, and then there's the buzzer and you need to score before that, and there's the double teaming and so on, and
it's definitely a lot different.
and the disc the disc
Yeah.
Quinn.
This is my 4th year and I'm still adapting.
Quinn won't shut up about the.
I won't.
Yeah.
We could talk more about that if we want to.
Well, actually, I had Alex took 2 of them.
Oh, did he?
To
Oh, because he
Ghent
probably
with
wanted
me.
to throw at them.
Yeah, because we wanted to know what's it about. But yeah, and then when the UFA season started, I had at under 17 and under 20 practice, I had the scrimmages run like UFA games, like being allowing double teaming and a shorter stall and pulling from the brick and stuff. So
That's fun.
It's definitely different. There's some things that I really, really like about it. Some things that I wish were more similar to traditional club. It's funny, actually. So Christina, who
and the falling, like if you make a fall, or if you
like flopping.
it's like you can move up or you have to move down in the field. It's
the yardage penalties.
Yeah.
There's like a big component around fouling that I wish they would improve. Mostly, like I think there needs to be harsher penalties, like a foul, like maybe a foul limit or something like that, for excessive fouling. I think that would be the easy one. Just like you only have a handful of fouls, and once you get hit a number, maybe like as a team, then like it's a super harsh penalty yardage wise, and then each individual maybe should have their own limit. But it's funny, like how you're mentioning like getting used to watching the game. So Christina, who I'll give some credit to helping us convince you to come on. She watched her first UFA game this past weekend when we were at Salt Lake, and she was confused about some of the pace of it. And I mentioned like, there's only 20 people on a roster. The time between points is a lot shorter.
Yeah.
And she's seconds. She said, oh, that explains a lot. Every time when I was trying to skip some parts as I'm used to, I was already in the middle of the next point. It makes way more. Makes it way more interesting to watch the normal games.
Yes.
With the long breaks.
Yeah.
And then she also mentioned like how there were a lot of calls in our game, especially, but she was, I would say, impressed by how quickly they were resolved relative to like, in a whiff diff or USA Ultimate game, you get a travel call or something every single point, and then you talk about it for 35, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So when are you coming to the States? Are we ever going to get you out here?
I've been in Cincinnati in 2019 for the World Club Teams. I honestly,
you have no reason to come here, I suppose.
I honestly, I don't know, because everything, my past travels have all been ultimate frisbee related.
Yeah.
And my how do you say, significant other, Wouter. He's not my husband, but he's the father of our two children.
Okay.
So he's a bit he's a bit fed up that everything is ultimate. All of our travels, he would like us to make more travels and other destinations than only.
Same with Devin. Same with Devin. But you have to frame it like we're going to do a vacation before or after frisbee. So it's like the frisbee is the thing that made us go on the vacation, not like we have to. It's like, oh, we get this 2-week vacation, and then like there's like frisbee snuck on the beginning or the end.
I'm trying. But now having a son playing ultimate as well, I don't think
you can't escape it. You can't escape it.
Until he's playing in the UFA.
Oh, don't say that. He might be listening at one point. But it's crazy with and now next to Dan and Tobe there are some other European guys playing, Tom Blasman, Benjamin Oort, and the Latvian guys. They are also playing UFA.
Soph
isn't Soph on Union?
Yeah, Soph is on Union, but I don't think he has played his first game yet. But it also means, the fact that they still let him play this late in the season, and they should let him play because he was brilliant at under 24.
He's very good. He's very good.
But it lives among Belgian youth in general. Like when Alex came to Ghent and had his bag of jerseys, we talked about it a bit up front, and I was like, it's a very uncommon thing to do, like really selling your jerseys, but I was like,
It's kind of
we
weird
can
here,
give it
too.
a try. It's we can try it. But it was crazy how much of the kids knew who he was. Like I knew who he was only because of the podcast
Yeah.
and the way I looked him up after that. But it's crazy. They UFA is and US club teams. It's something that the kids are here starting to
To pay
follow.
attention to. Yeah.
Yeah. And now with Dan and Tobe and Sof going to the States, they see, wow, it's
That's really
it's
exciting.
becoming a
I can do
reality.
it too. Yeah, I can do it too. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It's obvious, but that does make the future kind of exciting to see how many more Europeans
yeah.
will come over and the
Yeah.
evolution. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
both ways. Like more and more Americans are playing over
Yeah.
there now.
I
Yeah.
would love to yeah.
Talking to you about this stuff just like makes me realize like how fortunate I am and US players are. And Devin and I talked a little bit about it, and kind of specifically why I wanted to ask you about like watching Tobe play in the UFA was when you were talking to her at London Invite, she was like very like interested in how it's like it was Tobe's dream to play in the UFA and all that, and then she was like compared it to me, where I was like, she was like, yeah, and then you just talk about it, like I'll just
I
go play for the
think
Summit, or I just get to play for the Summit. And for me, and she compared it to me, and like when we didn't have a UFA team, or when it got announced, she was like, you just talked about it like, oh, I'll just play for the Summit, like, and I'm so fortunate in a way that I can just talk that way. Whereas all these other great players in Europe and around the world, like it's such a lift, and it's so
yeah.
hard to be able to do that. But for players in the US, it's like, yeah, I'll just go do that. So it's just
Yeah,
interesting, and
that's crazy.
yeah.
Like for European
Mm-hmm.
players, it's like um, even if you get some of them are getting paid per game, but
Mm-hmm.
not all of them.
Yeah.
So it's still a big investment. And like with what I mentioned with Tobe is it's not only money wise because you're at the age where you should work your first jobs, but instead
Mm-hmm.
you choose to play UFA. And then also the investment, I think Benjamin Oort mentioned that once.
Mm-hmm.
It's also an investment to live in another country, to adapt to another language, another
Definitely.
culture. Yeah, it's a lot to chase your dreams, but I think if you're able to do it, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
This. I'm also reminded of Kins a little bit because he has big dreams and goals, and he wants to make
Yeah.
ultimate his livelihood. And my response is I try to be as supportive of it as possible because what better time than now to try, and also like I don't want to be. He's so passionate about it. I don't want to be the person to say no to his dreams. There's like a flip side of it, I suppose. I don't know if it's like my parental side or what, but
Yeah.
he has amazing ideas, and I want to help him achieve those. It makes me think of him, and
If there is one thing, at least one thing, yeah, he's a great player. I mean, I coached him at Elite Invite, and there's no way he's a great player. But what also really stood out to me is the way he coached the kids. I mean, he talked about this, and like for the clinics on the Wednesday afternoon, it was 3 clinics, which consisted each out of 40 to 50 kids. And up front I was like, I can help you out and I can stay with you. And he was like, no, I think I'll be okay. And I was like, that's crazy. That's like when I mean we get, I mean, the general youth group in Gentle consists of 40, 50 kids, but we are several coaches running it. And he was like, yeah, no, I'll be okay. And he really was okay. I
yeah,
mean, so if he wanted to make a living out of coaching youth, he would
he
be
could.
great at it. Yeah, he could. He was
He he
he
really does
was
have the skill set to
yeah.
do a lot of these
Yeah.
things, and it's so
Yeah.
natural to his
Yes,
personality.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. it's very natural to him, and he's also not shy in joining
Exactly. Yeah.
the clinics he's running, which is, I think that's, and the kids, they just love it. Loved it. It's they get to be marked by him, or they have to cut against him, and it's yeah, it was great. It was a truly great experience to have him here running those clinics.
That makes me happy. He really is good at it. He's a big kid himself.
But yeah, you know him way more better than I do, so I understand your concerns. But yeah, to me, it's like, yeah, go exactly what I'm saying to Toba and Dan. I mean, those opportunities, they just come naturally. So yeah, if you get them, go grab them. It's yeah.
Totally. What else? Any other fun things? Actually, you know what? When I was in Belgium, I bought some chocolate for my family.
Which
But it all
one?
melted.
Which
I don't
brand?
even remember. I was going to just go to like a souvenir shop at first, but then Ava actually told me to go to the
Eva
supermarket.
Maxon, she's so much fun. I mean,
She's the best.
oh, and we now
Quinn, I
share the
wish you had
same.
been able to meet her.
She's 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 the best. We share the same T-shirt now of the pod practice, the black
Oh
one.
yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
She
Yeah,
has one
I
too.
just met her yesterday at nationals. She won. She
I
won Belgian
saw the photo.
championship, and she was like, "Oh!" And when Mikey was staying at my place, he gave me this shirt thing, and I was like, "I have the same one. We can."
That's so awesome.
And she had it with her in her bag, and she's like, "I'm wearing it all the time because it's really
Oh.
it's a really cool shirt. It's yeah."
That's so sick.
That's amazing. I wish you would. You'll have to get a picture of the two of you at some point wearing
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Shit, I should have taken one yesterday. Yeah.
It's so ironically, or maybe not. I don't know what the word is, but since we handed those T-shirts out, people have just been hitting me up like crazy for it. Even like my friends who
You shouldn't have given them away. But I'm happy you did. I'm happy you did. I'm really happy I got one. It's
no, we'll get more.
Yeah, we're doing
yeah.
more. We're doing more.
Yeah.
And different variants, but that was I love. You have the black one, right? I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. I was I heard your last episode, and I was also going to mention it. Like, I listen to a shitload of podcasts, and I like it when people are giving, how do you say, recommendations
Oh.
about other things to watch, which you did
Oh, yeah.
in yeah, like you asked for recommendations on the road. I don't know if they are good
Let's
listens
hear them. Let's hear
for a
'em.
road trip. But so instead of me recommending a shows or films or whatever,
Uh-huh.
I listen to the Filmcast on a weekly basis, and it's an American podcast. Um, and it's a show about the latest shows and films, and then they also do a review of
Oh.
a movie they recently saw. And I think one guy is actually from the Denver area,
Oh, really?
and yeah, and it's a really good show to keep updated with the latest, and they they yeah, it are good recommendations they give. So and then two other ones, not ultimate related, however, is a really serious one about true crime. I don't know if you're familiar with the Black Dahlia murder. It's one of the most famous murders,
I'm
I
not.
think, in Hollywood. It's called
How
The
do you?
Root of Evil,
Oh, I
and
feel like I've
it's
heard. I
it's
feel like Maddie's
about
probably told us about this one.
Yeah.
it's about one of your most famous murder histories in the States. And then the last one is a podcast called Dead Eyes. It's about an actor who got um, a audition for Band of Brothers. He got the news. He got the part on Band of, the show Band of Brothers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
He got the part, and then he had to redo his audition in front of Tom Hanks. And then afterwards, right after that audition, he got the news that he was no longer taken. And the reason why he was no longer taken was because he had dead eyes. And so,
Oh,
and that was like 10, 15 years ago.
I see a picture of
from
him
the
with
start
Tom
from the
Hanks.
start of the podcast. And then you should listen to the episodes. It's about
interesting.
it's a really good one. And then for shows to watch, I'm going to go with two recommendations. One is for free.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, and it's something I talked about with Devin, because
Oh, yeah.
she runs marathons.
Hmm.
And so when we were talking about marathons, I was mentioning the Barclay marathons. I don't know
Yeah.
if you
Me
know
and her
that
watched
race.
that. Yeah, me and her watched it together. It's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. So it's not about ultimate, but it's about sports. And if you
Yeah.
are about sports, there are several documentaries about it.
Hmm.
I
The
didn't
race
watch.
that eats its young.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't watch that one, but didn't watch the one yet that Devin recommended to me.
Hmm. It was
But
really good. Yeah.
yeah, it's the one that I watch is Where Dreams Go to Die. So, and I think that's a title that sums it all up, and it's really is. Oh, I cried at the end. So
Another ultra runner.
yeah, yeah, and then the last one is for all the ladies out there and the women. It's a really that a show about strong women. Is We Are Lady Parts. I have no idea where to watch it. It's on our national channel for free.
Let's see.
It's
on
an
Peacock.
English. Yeah,
Peacock.
it's an English show about a female punk rock band, but it all consists out of Muslima
Oh, that's awesome.
girls, and it's something I didn't think I would enjoy it that much, but it's a great watch.
97% of Rotten Tomatoes.
That's yeah. Looks like it's on Apple TV too, and Amazon Prime Video, so it's all over.
Oh, I can watch it
Yeah.
for. Well, I guess I pay for Amazon Prime, but
Yeah,
I can.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I only talked about it with other women, and they like it. I don't know how men really feel
Well,
about it, but
I'm sure I'd
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I grew up with two older sisters, and I feel
Okay.
like I ended up watching a lot of stuff like this.
But yeah, I'm happy that I can give these recommendations to your audience.
Sweet.
I'll probably check out all of them. These your podcasts are some of them are intense ones. It seems like true crime is a huge genre that for some reason I've never. I think I get too freaked out by things like that.
Oh yeah, you mentioned it. So yeah, so maybe Root of Evil might not be for you, Mike. It's yeah, it's a hard one. It's yeah.
Okay,
It's not
well,
always
we'll see how
easy
I'm
to listen
feeling.
to. Yeah, but I just I started to listen to podcasts only to in Corona when in COVID
Oh yes.
when we were stuck at home, and I just wanted to get away from family life for
From
a moment.
reality.
Yeah, podcasts were a really good one at that time. So
Awesome. Thanks for the Rex.
yeah.
We'll list them all below too. Now I need it. This should probably be a regular thing we do. Ask people for their favorite
Yeah,
whatevers.
that's a good segment.
And I need to have a list of mine. I forget it constantly. Even music that I know, like I have favorite artists and have favorite songs, but I can't actually remember who they are or what the song titles are,
Oh.
which Quinn cannot relate to at all because
No, I love top threes and stuff.
yeah. Sweet. Well,
Cool.
thanks so much for being here, Ine. Do you have
Thank you for
any?
having me. It's,
Of course.
yeah.
Any shout out? Like, what's next? What are the most important things coming up in the next couple of months?
I'm leaving for Sweden next Saturday because
Oh, will
there
you see
is.
Sarah there?
I I don't know if she plays at it's Grandmaster. I don't think she's going to play there. But on Sunday there's a under 17 tournament starting there, which is called the Summit.
Oh,
Which
nice.
when I first heard about your team, Summit Colorado, it was a bit off-putting because the Summit here in Europe is like a youth tournament. And my son is going to compete with the Belgian under 17 Open team
Nice.
in that competition. But then we also take four other national teams, like kids who didn't make a national team, but also give them the chance to compete at an international level. So we are taking in total about 100 kids over
Holy
there. So that's
smokes,
going to be
Jesus.
something. Yeah. And then we have a 1 week travel with the family from Sweden to Slovakia, where the under 20 European Championship will happen, and
Nice.
I'm assistant coach for the mixed team. And then if Gentle qualifies for finals, it will be finals end of September.
Wow.
And then I'll also be coaching the national mixed team in Portimao at the World Beach Championships.
Holy smoke.
And
In November?
and I know I should say no more often
To something.
to project.
So lots
but
of coaching coming up.
Yeah.
I might be there in Portugal. I don't know
That
yet.
would be great. Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be able to see you there if I go. What was something that you just said made me think?
Finals. I hope.
Finals. Yeah. How do you win? What's the qualifier for finals? I thought you already knew that.
Summer tour.
Summer
Gentle
tour.
Open needs to play summer tour in Berlin, and it happens to be a really big competition there. They made they reconstructed the way to get to final playoffs in Europe, and I don't get the full understanding of it yet. But you need to qualify through or either spring tour, elite invite, or summer tour, and you need to have a certain amount of points during those tours. And because we ended up last at elite invite, that wasn't enough to qualify right away. So now they need
with
to
all those universe losses.
Yeah, that was hard. Yeah.
Would Toba play finals?
I don't know. It depends. I hope so, but it also depends on his situation with Boston.
Because it's like it's
I
right
feel
around.
I'm not going to talk in his place. I don't go and make assumption about him. I hope so, but
it would be like I think it's like right after regionals in the U.S. But the point system. We should wrap up here, but the point system is really interesting to me. If we qualified that way instead of. We basically have a point system, and that determines how many bids you have.
It used to be the same like your system. Like you win your region, and then you get to go to finals. And I don't know what the reason was. I heard at one point, but it's the second year they are doing it this way.
So. Oh, okay. and you don't know if you prefer it yet or not?
It's probably going to be the first year I'm going to coach an open team at Europeans. I've been coaching Mooncup for the past 2 years, and they were clearly like
The best.
dominating,
Yeah.
in Belgium, and I wouldn't say the region because Grut won last year, very clear. They were the best team there, so I wouldn't know for open, but gentle open definitely deserves to go.
To be there. Yeah,
To be
I'd
there.
say so. All right. Well, we'll be rooting for you, and we'll be rooting for the Moon guys too. But we'll be rooting for Gentle.
Just root for Belgium. That's fine.
We'll root for Belgium. Yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll come visit and join the Belgian scene sometime. That's kind of my goal, I think, right now.
Always welcome.
All right, Quinn. Anything final from you?
Nope, all good. That was great.
Cool. All right, stick around for just a sec, but thanks and peace out.
Peace.